Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. The Xbox Elite 2 series controller has always been my favorite. I love the trigger locks, I like the 4 back paddles, I like the removable caps, I like the customization. I love this controller. But once I fell in love with gyro controls on the Steam Deck, I had to start looking a little bit further. I ended up with an Xbox Series controller with the Armor X Pro on the back. Now this does give almost everything to me except for the trigger locks. And you can see a video right there in the upper right if you would like to see more about this layout. But I'm always looking for the best of the best. Enter the Gulikit KK3 Max. This is supposed to be one controller to rule them all. And by the looks of it, it has everything. But there's one small problem with it that's going to keep it from being my daily driver. What is that? Stick around and we'll find out together. All right, let's jump right in here and see what is inside the box. Nice looking little box. We'll go ahead and cut this guy open. And let's take off the top. Oh, this is nice. Look at this. So we have a pair of stick toppers. We have accessories. We'll look at these a little bit more in a minute. I like this. This is nice, a whole accessory pack. And we have a nice long USB-C cable for wired or charging. And it even comes with its own case and some documentation here, some basic stuff. We'll look at some of this in a minute. And sort of an accessories thing here. And some stickers. All right, well, standard stuff. Here's the case. It's a hard plastic case. It's embossed. I like it. You click it open. You have to pull it hard. There we go. Nice. Look at that. This is a very attractive controller. It's nice. And here's the case. Inside the case, you have a button puller to change your buttons out. We're going to play with that in just a minute because I'm kind of fascinated by that. You can just grab these little buttons right here and pull them out. See? Catch around the edges and you can pull them out. We'll do this more in a minute. And then over here, we have a dongle for a PC. And we're going to look at that as well. Kind of hard to get out of here, so I ended up using the button puller to pull it out. And there you go. There's the dongle. Pretty straightforward, simple, little button to pair. I like that, and it all fits neatly into the case. That's great. Well, let's take a look at the unit itself. The thumbsticks feel fine. They click in. They feel good. The buttons feel nice. They are in the wrong orientation, so we'll have to fix that. We have some LED lighting, which is optional. Nice little plus and minus for the switch. A couple of other buttons here. We're going to look at these in more detail soon. As well as a couple of buttons that don't really make sense, but they will by the time we're done. The D-pad actually feels good. I'm very surprised that it feels good. And yeah, the throw is a little bit wide. The throw on the sticks is wider than I'm used to. I'm not a huge fan of that, but they are Hall effect. And these two triggers are also Hall effect, the full-blown triggers. We have trigger locks, which change them from Hall effect to digital, but they also double as basically trigger locks. So you can have half pulls for when you're playing shooters. It's great stuff. And they're textured on the tip. I like that a lot. Down here, we have 4 ports to put back paddles or buttons. We'll look at those in a minute. These are nicely textured. This is a remarkably decent controller. On the top here, we have a USB-C port as well as a selection. That didn't come out very well on the camera, but we'll get another look at it, as well as a pairing button. Overall, I'm pretty pleased. It feels just like an Xbox, almost litigiously so. And let's see what we got here. Well, let's go ahead and put these paddles in the back. This works exactly like an Elite controller, but there are pull buttons. These are a little bit different. If you don't want to use the paddles, you can use pull buttons, which are more squeeze oriented for your fingertips. That probably not going to be for me, but I did want to show one in place and show you how that did. Let's put these other ones back in. We'll put it into a basic Xbox configuration, an Elite configuration. I don't know about these buttons. I don't think I'm going to be able to deal with those. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice addition, but I'm not sure I'd be able to. Let's take them off. Everything comes off and on easily. Again, if you've used an Elite controller, there's no surprises here. No, these are all kind of backwards. These overlap. There you go. Nice. Okay, and there's a bunch of different ways you could do this, but yeah, this feels great. It feels just like an Elite controller. Overall, the build quality feels nice. I am not disappointed at all. All right, so let's compare it to some of the more common controllers. Here it is compared to the Elite 2. And again, boy, they sure look similar, don't they? And of course, this is my Xbox series, which I have the Armor Pro X on the back to give me 4 buttons as well as gyro. And yeah, so it's comparable across the board here. I don't think anybody would be unhappy with the weight or anything like that. Everything feels durable and quality. I think it's a pretty good knockoff, to be honest with you, when it comes to being an Xbox controller knockoff anyway. And yeah, I mean, it'll probably get dirty over time, that cream color, but you know, whatever. Now, one thing you'll notice is you can't put it back in the case when you have the rear paddles on. I consider that an immediate negative. I would probably want to put this in my backpack or in a suitcase. I'll have to take these guys off, and there's no place to put them inside of this unit here. But you do have a charging port in the back. A lot of people will be pleased. I'll plug it into this extraordinarily short cable I have back here. We'll plug it in. You can see there's an amber light that comes on, and it'll turn green when it is done charging. So let's take a look at this instruction manual. This has got to be one of the better instructions I've seen. Everything is color-coded, and everything is done on the controller. So if you want to control the joystick sensitivity, you can see how to do that. You can see how to adjust the light brightnesses or change the 4 directions on the D-pad to 8 directions using purple, right? So it's gear plus purple, which is right on the D-pad. Very nice. I dig on that. I mean, I don't like these foldables, but they really worked hard to kind of correlate everything by color. And again, you can see it tells you how to calibrate the triggers. Everything is done on device. There's no need to run some sort of an app on your phone or on your computer. Everything can be done on device. And to me, that's a huge plus. Take it over to a buddy's house or whatever. You don't have to break out your phone or do anything crazy to get this thing to conform to what you want it to do. Yeah, I like it. And here is how to update. Basically, you plug it into a PC, hold the APG button and tap A, and copy a bin file over to the drive that shows up on your computer. That's it. It does everything else. All right, plus all of those shortcuts are right here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, and I apologize for it, but if you hold down the gear, it shows you change RGB, change, you see it right here. They correlate. There's no colors on the case, but in a pinch, you can use the case to tell you how to change the different things that you want to change. All right, next up, let's go ahead and pair it up to the venerable Steam Deck. We're going to do this by switching over to the Windows selection, which is essentially Bluetooth, right? I don't think they license the Bluetooth name, but if you connect it via Windows, and then you'll go over to your deck. Pretty simple. I mean, it's just like pairing any other Bluetooth. There's nothing crazy or complicated about this. So we'll show it. We'll turn on all devices. We'll look for it, but it's not quite in pairing mode yet, I don't think. No, not in pairing mode. So you have to hold this button down to put it into pairing mode. So it's got 2 different blinking modes. One is searching to connect, and the other one is pairing. The slower one is searching for an existing connection. The fast back and forth is trying to pair. And there you go. Gulikit Controller XW. Interesting choice of names. And there you go. Pairs right up, and it essentially becomes an Xbox controller. That's great. Now, you'll also notice, though, that the buttons here are incorrect, right? It's set up for a switch out of the box. A is to the far right, and B is at the bottom. So when we go to look at our calibration or try to test our controller input, right, you're going to see that there are some oddballs here, right? Something's not right here. The back paddles aren't working. So if we look here on the instructions, the back button configurations are not set up by default. We have to do it. So it says to hold the settings gear button and then tap one of the rear paddles and then tap what you want it to be. So I'm going to hold that, tap 1, top left, and I want that to become the bumper. And you'll feel a little buzz, and boom, that's it. And it buzzes in your hand to let you know that it's committed. So now when I hit that back one, it actually lights up the bumper as it's supposed to. So we can go ahead and set all of those, and it's all stored internally, so you don't have to worry about losing your configurations or anything. But we'll set all of these up, and now my rear paddles will work exactly as they should. There you go, see? I got them all set. Click in and my bumpers. Awesome. All right, next we'll do a quick pairing up to my Samsung Galaxy S21. This has its own dedicated Android device type. And again, we're just going to hold it down to pair. And it does show up on the Bluetooth menu. And in this case, it shows up as an Xbox controller, which I wasn't looking for. I was looking for the Gulikit, right? But this shows up as an Xbox controller and all works well. All right, so let's take a look here. And we want to probably work on these buttons. So you see here that we have a vibration sensitivity as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, this, of course, is absolutely impossible to see here on the screen. But if you hold down the gear button and you tap left, it toggles through various modes of rumble. Now, they call something called HD rumble. I'm going to be honest with you. There was sort of a low rumble feature. There's a rotary rumble mode, a magic haptic mode, and then an HD vibration mode. I think that's sort of one of those checkbox upsell things, because I honestly didn't really get it. I didn't really feel a lot of change there. But all of these things are, again, you can do right on the controller. So you can adjust the intensity, the vibration mode itself. And I cycled through all of these, and I don't know. Turning on rapid fire, this is super easy. Just hold down the gear and tap the button that you want. And it will buzz, and you know that it is now, it's now ready to go. Okay, so let's connect this guy up to a switch. This was a little bit more complicated. Again, it has its own switch mode. So we're going to go ahead and wake it up. Make sure that the light on the right side there is switch. We're going to pair it up, and boom, now the switch sees it. And of course, we have to hit LR to make that work. And there you go. All good. Works perfect. And it's got the minus and plus at the top. Sweet. All right, so let's plug this thing into the PC, right? This is what we're really talking about here. So we're going to go ahead and plug this dongle in. Again, there's a little button right there to pair it. Plug it in. And then we have our own setting on the back. We have our own choice for the dongle. The dongle has its own setting. So technically speaking, you could connect 4 different devices to this thing. So not really profiles, but if you have an Android phone, a Windows machine, a switch, right? And then a generic Bluetooth device, each one of those devices sort of holds its own profile in here. So that's kind of nice. I had to struggle a little bit here to get this to move. It's sort of funky to change that mode, but there you go. You can see it now. It is actually on the adapter. I'm going to hold the adapter button down. I'm going to pair it on the controller. Come on now. See, it's flashing like it's trying to find something, not pair. Hold it down for a while and it goes back and forth. Now it's actually trying to pair. So blinking means I'm looking for the previously established device. The other one is to actually pair. All right, so I put the little toppers on. With the toppers are almost useful on this device. I don't typically like them, but they're kind of useful here because of the long throw on the sticks. And I found that they were perfectly responsive. They were perfectly comfortable. I liked them a lot. I thought this played very nicely. Using it for a twin stick shooter, such as Geometry Wars 3 here, really is a good test of how responsive and how these sticks feel to actually play. And I thought they were just fine. I thought they were very comfortable. I probably won't keep the toppers on though. Might give them to my son. He wants those. All right, looks great. All right, next up, let's get this gyro thing out of the way. So the gyros that I'm used to either happen by touching something like the right stick on the Steam Deck, or they occur by some sort of a trigger that you've selected. On here, the only way to get the gyro to work is to hold down the left trigger. That's the only way to make the gyro work. That's it. And for a game like Overwatch 2, totally useless. This isn't aim down sights. It's unfortunate. The only way to make this gyro work is to hold down that left trigger. So it works for Call of Duty, but probably nothing else that doesn't aim down sights with the left. There's no way to set that up. There's no way to change it. All you can do is really change the sensitivity on it or turn it off. And so I'm going to tell you right now, I feel like the gyro is a bust. I would not purchase this controller at all with the concept that there's a gyro attached to it. Just forget about it. It's a goner. All right, let's take a look at the pros and the cons. The pros: Hall effect analog triggers and sticks. The trigger locks have half trigger lock pulls. Fully featured, it has all the features that you need in one device. 4 rear paddles, customizable positioning of the face buttons. You can remove them and put in a different set to support both the Switch as well as a PC. Bluetooth, dongle, Switch, and Android support. 4 and 8-way D-pad configurable through software, and all the configuration is on board. No app, no phone app, no PC app is required. Variable joystick sensitivity settings, variable HD rumble settings, a home button that works with the Switch and the Steam Deck. It works as a Steam button on the Steam Deck, and it comes with a case and all the accessories you might need that would normally not come with something like, say, the Elite controller. How about the cons? Well, we know that the gyro is a complete disappointment, and so it really doesn't have everything if really what you wanted was a gyro. There are no profiles, right? Other than, as I mentioned before, you can change between devices, but you can't set, 3 profiles like you can on the Xbox. 1 trigger lock setting, so you don't get the both quarter and half pull like you might get on the Elite controller. The minus and plus button placement, that's basically start and select. For a PC person, it's way up there. You'll find yourself pushing the wrong buttons instead of start and select. It's a little thing, but it's worth mentioning. It won't fit in the case with the paddles. I thought that would kind of suck. There's no rubberized grips. Instead, it's sort of got that textured feel, which is great. I'm glad they did that, but people are going to miss that rubberized grip. No D-pad caps, right? So you can't replace the D-pad with more of an 8-way. No replaceable analog caps. The rears only replace other buttons. You can't assign those to, say, a space bar or some other control. And it's a little harder to get. If you order it from Amazon, it might take 2 or 3 weeks, and it takes you longer to pick it up. I really love this controller. It is now my secondary controller. It used to be my Xbox Elite 2 series was my secondary controller, but now this has taken the cake. So outside of that nasty little gyro thing, this controller does 99% of what I need. If you can live with the cons and you love the pros that we talked about earlier, I would really consider this controller. It's one of the cheapest. It's only a little bit more expensive than a standard Xbox controller, and you get it all. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.